No one in the court of King Ardan spoke her name above a whisper. The Giant Empress of the North, Ulraya of the Storm Peaks, was a legend wrapped in mist, a queen whose height scraped the low clouds, whose voice could shatter oaths and shake mountains. To most, she was a monster draped in gold and bone. To me, she was a mystery that refused to fit inside the cage of fear the bards built for her. I was a court scribe, the kind whose ink-stained fingers were better suited to parchment than sword. When King Ardan announced his intent to host Ulraya for peace negotiations, I was tasked with recording every word. The other scribes refused to go, too afraid they'd be crushed under her boot or eaten whole. But curiosity is a louder master than fear. The northern sky bruised purple when her delegation arrived. Her footsteps echoed before her, boom, 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 and each one made the chandeliers tremble. I expected her to be grotesque, but when she entered the great hall, all breath left me. She was enormous, yes, 20 feet tall at least, but there was grace in her, a calm power that pulled the eye. Her skin was a pale blue-gray like a twilight glacier, and her eyes, vast and clear as molten silver, reflected every trembling man in the room. Her hair, long as banners, was the color of thunderclouds shot through with white streaks of lightning. The nobles bowed because they were told to, but I could feel their revulsion, thinly veiled, thickly spread. "Your Majesty Ulraya," King Ardan said, his voice cracking despite his crown. "We welcome you in peace." "Then keep your swords sheathed," she rumbled. Her words came like the echo of thunder, deep and slow. "And your archer's eyes from my back," the court froze. Somewhere above, an arrow clattered to the floor. Forgotten by a trembling guard, she smiled, not kindly, but knowingly. I wrote every word, every expression, every heartbeat. After the formalities, the feast began. Platters of roast boar and honeyed fruit filled the tables. A separate table, more a platform really, was set for Ulraya, piled with entire sides of venison and barrels of mead. She ate delicately for someone who could have swallowed the king's banquet whole. Her movements were precise, measured, almost ceremonial, but no one spoke to her unless required. The courtiers whispered among themselves, laughter slipping like knives through the candlelight. "Look at her," one lady muttered, "a mountain in a gown. She could crush a man just by... She probably eats men." That was when I said it. "She's beautiful," I murmured, almost to myself, but the words carried. The table went silent. Then the laughter began, sharp and cruel. "Beautiful," one knight choked. "You've been sniffing too much ink, scribe." "She's a beast," another snorted. A frost ogre in a dress. King Ardan's eyes flicked to me, half amused, half warning. "Mind your tongue, Raylan, the Giant Empress might take offense," but she had heard. Of course she had. The hall fell utterly still as her vast silver eyes turned toward me. I expected wrath. Instead, she tilted her head, studying me as though I were a strange bird who had landed in her palm. "You find me beautiful," she said, not as a question, but as a quiet wonder. My throat went dry. "Yes, Your Majesty, I do." The laughter had long since died. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, slowly, impossibly, she smiled. It wasn't a mocking smile or a queenly smirk. It was real. The corners of her great mouth softened. Her eyes warmed like sunlight caught in snow. And in that moment, something inside the hall shifted. Even the torchlight seemed gentler. "I thank you," she said softly. "Few in your lands look upon me without fear." And then, to the astonishment of every noble and knight in the hall, she inclined her massive head toward me. A bow, a gesture of respect. After that, no one dared laugh. That night, after the feast ended and the nobles scattered to their chambers, a servant found me in the courtyard with a message. "The Empress requests your presence. Scribe Raylan. Alone." I followed the servant through torchlit corridors until we reached the open northern terrace, a vast balcony overlooking the dark forests beyond. The air was sharp and cold. Ulraya stood there, her silhouette framed against the rising moon. She was not wearing her crown now, only a long mantle of white fur. Without the golden armor, she seemed less an empress and more a woman, albeit one whose height made me crane my neck until it ached. "You are brave," she said, her voice gentler than I'd expected. "Or foolish. Men do not often speak of beauty in those they fear." "I meant it," I said, because lying seemed impossible before her. She turned to look over the distant peaks. In my realm, beauty is strength. Ice-carved cliffs, storms that do not break. Here, it seems beauty must fit within soft hands and smaller shapes. I smiled faintly. Here, people fear what they do not understand. And you? She asked. I only fear not understanding. For the first time, she laughed. The sound rolled across the terrace like distant thunder, but there was warmth in it. I like you, Raylan of the South, she said. You see truth where others see terror. Her hand descended, a massive, open palm the size of a wagon bed. Come. My legs moved before my mind caught up. I stepped onto her hand. The surface was cool, her skin smooth but hard as tempered stone. With surprising delicacy, she lifted me upward until I was level with her face. Her eyes, so vast and bright, reflected the stars themselves. There is a saying in my lands, she murmured. Even a mountain may envy the wind if it learns to dance. You make me wonder if I might yet learn. I swallowed hard. You already do. She blinked, then smiled again. Smaller this time. Softer. When she set me down, the air felt different, as though the world had shifted slightly to make space for something new. The peace treaty was signed 3 days later. Arden's advisors whispered that the Giant Empress had yielded too easily, that her kind must be plotting something. But I saw the truth in her eyes. She wanted no war. She wanted understanding. When she prepared to leave, the court gathered once more. I stood near the back, my ink-stained hands folded. She looked across the hall, and for a fleeting moment, her gaze found mine. That smile, her smile, returned. Quiet, knowing, powerful, and then she was gone, her retinue fading into the mist. Months passed. Life at court returned to its dull rhythm. The other scribes teased me, but not cruelly, not anymore. The story of the scribe who called the Giant Empress beautiful became a kind of legend. Half mockery, half marvel. I returned to my work, but I never forgot her. Then, one winter morning, a shadow passed over the city. The ground shook, not from war, but from footsteps. I ran to the balcony and saw her, Ulraya, striding through the snow, unarmored, unaccompanied. The guards panicked, the bells rang, but I knew better. She came for no battle. When I reached the gates, she was waiting, kneeling so her face met mine. Snowflakes melted on her hair like stars dissolving into silver water. I was near, she said, and thought to see how peace fares. Better than before, I said, breath misting. The borders are quiet. The people, less afraid, her eyes warmed. And you, Raylan, still writing truth? Trying to, I said. Some truths are harder to keep alive. She extended a finger, massive and careful, and brushed a lock of snow from my shoulder. Then let this one live at least. The truth that beauty does not shrink to be understood. I laughed softly. That sounds like something I should write. You already did, she said. And when she smiled again, it felt as though the whole world bowed with her. In the years that followed, peace held. The northern snows and southern plains traded goods instead of soldiers. Songs were sung of the treaty, though most credited kings and generals. Only a few remembered the night a trembling scribe spoke a forbidden word aloud. I grew older. My ink turned gray like my hair. Then, one final winter, I made the long journey north, across frozen rivers and through the mountain passes that split the sky. Her palace stood carved into the cliffs, immense and glimmering with frostlight. When her guards saw me, they did not stop me. Word must have preceded me, or perhaps she had known I would come. She awaited me in a vast chamber open to the snow, seated upon a throne of crystal and bone. Time had not touched her much. She was still magnificent, her eyes calm as glaciers, her presence commanding. Raylan, she said softly, as though my name were something sacred. You came. I promised I would understand, I said. She smiled, a weary, beautiful smile. And do you? I nodded. I understand that beauty has nothing to do with shape or size or fear. It lives where courage meets kindness. Her gaze lingered on me, filled with something like pride. Then you have learned what most never do. She rose, towering above me, and stepped closer. You once gave me the gift of seeing myself through gentler eyes. Let me give you something in return. She knelt, her breath misting the air like warm wind on snow. The storms will remember your name. The mountains will speak it when they echo. You are friend to the giants. Then once more, She smiled, the same smile that had silenced a hall full of kings and cowards. And for the last time, I bowed before her, before Ulraya the Beautiful, the Giant Empress of the North.